Hello my friends and welcome to another DT project for Aall and Create, and as usual you will find links to what I used in the description box below. So this time I'm doing something new to me. I'm only using 3 stamp set called Heart Medley number 732, Power of the Word number 754, both by Tracy Evans, and a big set called Dreamy Moon number 774 by Dominic Phillips. The Dreamy Moon set is so beautiful and detailed that I didn't want to crowd the pages too much. That's not something you will hear from me every day, but I did find a way to add the details I love. Anyway, let's get started. I stamp the moon in permanent black waterproof ink, and as I drink my coffee, my brain is working overtime to figure out how to use this my way. But I end up deciding to color the image with my SIG markers, so that is where we start. I'm starting with 3 shades of pink. I have seen this moon colored in many ways before, so I try to think out of the box, and pink is what I'm going with to color the wood plank part of the moon. The image is so whimsical that I feel good about this choice, and I go from lightest to darkest, blending those pinks together and making sure I have shadows where the planks meet or overlap. It is winter where I live, and we only have a couple of hours of daylight here, so my apologies for the lighting. It isn't very good at all, despite all the lights I have over my desk. I color all of the leaves growing between and over the wood planks and at the top of the moon in 4 shades of green. A small part of the moon is built with bricks, so I color that part in 3 shades of orange, and for the roof tiles over the bricks I bring out darker oranges and a red to get some variation. I color the windows in 3 shades of purple, and for the curtains I use the same orange combo as I used on the bricks. In fact, I will use the same combos of pinks, oranges, purples and greens throughout this project. For the moon and stars, I use 1 orange marker, 1 bright yellow and 1 pale yellow. I'm coloring 2 smaller houses from the same set, but I will only show one because they are both colored with the same pink, purple, orange and green combos. I just changed the areas for the different colors. So, I have my moon and houses colored, and you could absolutely stop here. But you know I won't. I cut my colored moon into pieces, and I have a second moon that I didn't color. And I glue some pieces on flat, like the part with bricks. But for some pieces I use foam tape to add variation and make my moon more dimensional. So, I have glued down all my pieces, both flat and popped up. And you could absolutely stop here. But you know I won't. I have stamped and colored multiple of every leaf, mushroom and window. And now I plan to add even more dimension, starting with the round window. I glue 3 more window frames on top of the first window, and before this I cut out the dark parts of the windows so it feels like you are looking in. I add 1 more frame to the big window and 4 circle window frames for the small window. Next, I start adding extra leaves on top of the ones already there, and I use tweezers and my fingers to curl the leaves up for a more 3D effect. I glue an extra mushroom on the 4 already there, and then I move on to the leafy top of the moon. And it's hard to show because I used a lot of layers, both clusters of leaves and single leaves cut out and added in the last layer, and I try to curl them up so they look dimensional as well. For the small houses, I only paper pieced the wood planks and the leaves. Everything else was too tiny, even for me. Hopefully, you can see some of the details I added to the moon. Now let's make an inky and shimmering background, and as you can see I used an array of mica spray stains, dilution shimmer spray and ink sprays and distress oxide sprays. There was 1 or 2 that didn't get used, but there will be a lot of color and shimmer. I spray with water first and spray from the lightest to the darkest spray, and then I add some more light back before I let it air dry. The background is now dry and I want to add something to frame it, so I bring out Tracy Evans' Heart Medley VersaFine Clear Twilight Blue ink and Wow's Blue Diamond embossing glitter. Looking back, I wish I had used a blue metallic or something that would have shown up better. But done is done, and overall I am happy. I want to break up this big stamp and make the framing uneven, so I mask off with copy paper and stamp. Then I pour blue diamond embossing glitter over and melt the powder. I do it all around my background section by section, melting before I move on. I had to think about a sentiment and wanted something that would layer over without taking over, so I bring out the power of the word stamp set, Distress Oxide ink in mustard seed and Wow's primary yellow embossing powder. I stamped the whole image on acetate with that mustard seed oxide ink, cover with Wow's yellow embossing powder and melt the powder with my heat tool. It is hard to heat emboss on acetate, but I told myself beforehand that warped words would be a cool imperfection, and it warped, so we're okay. Before I attach my images, I hold up the background I made in my 8x8 dylusions journal. I wanted an out-of-this-world feeling, and the shimmer and glitter give me that. Then I show my moon before I glue it down on the left side. I try to show the dimension on the small houses, and then I glue them down on the right side, like little planets in a whimsical galaxy far, far away. Then I also glue down extra moons and stars, some flat and some with foam tape. The last thing I do is a mistake. I decided to use stick-it double-sided adhesive sheets to hold down the words I cut from that heat-embossed acetate. Don't do it. Not if it's warped. I fought it long and hard and had to go with glue in the end. But I glue them down coming in between the embossed pattern. And now, these Aall Create Dreamy Moon mixed media pages are finished, and I will get back to Christmas crafting. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, happy crafting.